Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show. Come to you live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and we talk about guns for about an hour. I'm going to just plain old drop the link over on the Daily Gun Show side. If somebody'd like to join in tonight, you got a link over there. If it gets weird, then we'll kick you out. I don't go for all the weirdness, but if you want to just chat about guns, you got a link. This is the little tiny co-host, and I know a lot of people out there who either watch live or listen in the future have been wondering about his situation. He is doing much better. He's pretty much healed completely. In fact, I'm guessing he's just ahead and he's healed completely. So I thought I might put on his little outfit that he likes to wear. So he's sitting here sleeping, minding his own business. That's always a good time to sneak up on him when he's not looking and then make him sit up. What I like to do is poke his head through first, right? And then I bring it back down like this. He's got an official Gun Websites patch on this side. There you go. And then on this side, he's rocking the Kilo Niner. So Kilo Niner, who makes this cool doggy sweatshirt situation for him. It's got the doggy pocket back here if he wanted to carry something, maybe a small revolver, a pug revolver or something. And there he is. So there's his little sweatshirt that he wears. It's also got some Velcro up here. If he wants to be real warm, he puts this on. Or if he just wants to be stylish out on the town, he just sits it like this. He's also got this cool SWAT jacket that he wears. Put this on over the sweatshirt. Pretty much starts to act like a tough guy when he's got all his gear on. So I apologize if he starts to chew tobacco and start drinking Rippets. But there you go. There's this little outfit. Also provided by, well, not provided by, but gave us a good discount. Black Multicam from, what's going on here? Kilo Niner. Come on, guy. Stand up. And we also have his poop machine patch. Also available at Kilo Niner. Now I got this little pouch at Max Tax. And it just happens to be also in black multicam. We went with the black multicam for this dude. And as you can see, it's a good color for him. And we got this cool pouch at SHOT Show also. So if he needs to carry something around, carries it in here. All right, so there's a little update on the dog. He's digging life because he's got his stuff on again. Usually when he gets his stuff on, he goes outside, makes a poop or whatever he does. And then he comes inside and he bullies Mello because he's got all his stuff on. And when Mello plays with him, he's got all his armor on. So he's got a pretty good situation going on here. Eventually, he'll get some goggles and some kind of a helmet for his nods. All right. So with that, tonight, and then I guess, back in the day, we hooked him up with this spiked wristband. So he also wears that whenever he's got all his gear on. Sometimes when he's flying or something, they won't let him bring a gun on the plane. So he just wears this cool spiked wristband. Take out terrorists with that if he has to. All right, there we go. All right, so getting back to it, tonight I figured we'd, instead of paying attention to some lame dog, we would check out the calendar of events. Get this thing to move and focus a little bit. Move my microphones over. He'll monitor what's happening over here, but he'll allow us to work on our own over here. All right, so this is the 2023 calendar that we came up with this year. I didn't have, I put together, I think, 6 of these, and we sold 3 of them or 4 of them. So it's not like these are hot sellers. This was one of the demos. I got a wrinkle in, so I'm not selling it. So we'll use the demo model. Essentially, we take some cardstock and print out some of the illustrations from the museums. We write the date, which corresponds to the date, and then put some information on the image side. Stuff about the museum, stuff that's in our passport book, essentially. And then down here in this section, we added a highlights of the month section. Oh, snap, I just realized there's a wrinkle on this side too. So this one's definitely a blemish. All right, then you got your month. Guess what? Then you get the next month and even more stuff about the museums and whatnot. So we're already past January. Let's see what happened just as a summary. We had the sheep show in Reno. So that's bighorn sheep. Most of this large species have their own organization, if not more organizations. Something like deer has actually quite a few organizations. But bighorn sheep, rams, whatever you want to call them, mountain sheep, are pretty fun to hunt because you have to climb a lot. It's pretty rigorous hunts typically, and nothing's guaranteed on a sheep hunt. So I'm kind of adjacent to sheep hunters. I was out doing a hike, 40-mile hike one time when I was a kid, and I don't know, some point into the 40-mile hike, we found poached sheep up on a mountain, and I grabbed it, but I had witnesses. I had grabbed it and brought it into town and had to get it all officially verified that, with witnesses and everything, that I found it and that I didn't poach it, but learned all about sheep. It was pretty interesting. So not interested in being a sheep hunter, but I can respect what they're doing over there. We had SHOT Show. We had the Army Navy Military Expo, awesome show. We had the Las Vegas Antique Show. I was able to attend all 3 of those shows, and lots of anniversaries throughout January. But then we get February. So let's take a look at what all we got going on. What is today already? The 8th or something? Yeah, today's the 8th already. So I guess I could have looked at which day is Wednesday. We're in the midst of the Great American Outdoor Show. It's an interesting show. It spans 2 weekends. So it started on the 4th and it'll run through the end of next weekend. And it's up in Pennsylvania. And it's a large outdoor show. It's more than just guns and hunting. It's got a lot of other stuff involved too. It's very large. And think about that. So a bunch of people. One of the neat things about a calendar and doing it in this format is you can kind of put spatially, or kind of figure out time here. They go to SHOT Show. Let's say you set up at SHOT Show, and then you have to tear down the booth or whatever. That takes at least a couple of days, you'd think. And then they travel with it, and they pretty much got to be setting it up for the Pennsylvania show here. So some of these people went from SHOT Show almost immediately to this 9-day show in Pennsylvania. Or I guess it started here. But they could essentially be almost on the road for like 4 weeks, and 3 weeks of it, they're going to be on the clock, like doing exposition or trade shows. Pretty interesting. Now, during that same week, the first week in February, there was also the 2023 Hunting Expo up in Salt Lake City. If you've never attended a show in Salt Lake City, I would recommend it. Salt Lake City is really cool. I don't know if you've ever been there, but attending a show, an industry show in Salt Lake City, is a great excuse to go to Salt Lake City. And in my opinion, it's a good city to see shows. We had no problem with parking or finding places to stay. And there was lots of interesting things between surplus stores and gun shops and restaurants and history. You got the Browning Museum. Which one was the Browning Museum? The first one, of course. So the Browning Museum is just north of Salt Lake City. Oh, you know what? I should have put a map. I guess I have the state here, but I should have put a map of where these things are. The J.M. Davis is in Tulsa. Anyway, so you have the couple other anniversaries. I imagine we'll start talking about the anniversaries since this is the month that we're in. But as far as large shows or industry events, that's what we have going on in February. Now, we do have a couple of rallies, or at least one rally, and that's the Arizona rally coming up on the 18th. So, not this weekend, but the weekend after. So, our friend Tony Simon is going to be one of the speakers at our Arizona rally, but he's in New Jersey. So, if you're interested, hopefully DJ can drop a link. Thank you for that. To the diversityshoot.com. Now, it's not a great website. I'm trying to trying to help out with that. I guess I could type it in here. It's not a great website right now because it's kind of stale. It's old, but you can use his link to. I wanted to say, is it GiveSendGo? Or just the Patreon link over on the side, and every $5 is another entry to brace, an SB tactical brace, but really to help Tony get to Arizona. All right, so let's see. Being the 8th, the next thing that's coming up is Michigan, the anniversary of Michigan ending the prohibition on suppressors with hunting. They did that back in 2016. On the same line as suppressors, we've got, should I bring this up? We've got the anniversary of the silencer for firearms being patented for the first time back in 1912. So suppressors were invented in 1912. 1934 is the NFA. So there was 10 years worth of media hype and marketing that made people think the suppressors were magic. At least that's what they'd have us believe. On the 14th of February, which is, I believe, a holiday that a lot of people celebrate, it's also Valentine's Day, but the holiday people celebrate is the day that the 1911 was patented back in 1911. Do you remember 1911? That's why they call it a 1911. Now, the day after, the 15th, is when Dick Kasuhl, the inventor of the modern mini revolver, also the largest Kasuhl revolvers, the 454 Kasuhl cartridge. He was born in 1931. Maxwell Atkinson was born in 1930, who invented the. Wait a minute. Yeah, he invented. Wait a minute. Did he invent the AA-12? He may have invented the AA-12. I'm trying to remember now. 18th is our rally. That's a Saturday. So if you're interested in attending a pretty decent rally, it's our 10th annual rally here in Arizona. The 19th is the Coast Guard Reserve's birthday. It's their 80th birthday. They were born in 1941. Let's see, we have the Dragunov, or no, the inventor of the Dragunov, Yevgeny Dragunov, I'm pretty sure is the Russian pronunciation. That was he was born in 1920. And then you have the Teichart Amendment. Who knows what the Teichart Amendment was all about? That was passed in 2003. Was the Teichart Amendment pro or anti? Rights. I just have another image for the 1911 being patented because I can. Why not? Might make it look cluttered. I don't know. We have the anniversary. The one good thing that Obama did for guns in the midst of, actually before he started his whole executive actions thing, what he did was he tried to do something, and in the process, somebody added something to the bill that allowed your CCW permit to apply in a national park if the national park is in a state where your CCW permit applies. So here in Arizona, if we have a CCW, it now works in a national park where normally it wouldn't work in a national property. That same day, the February 22nd, is also the anniversary of New Hampshire passing constitutional carry. Congratulations, New Hampshire. They did that back in 2017, just 7 years after Arizona did. And so that's, 4 or 5 years ago. So that gives you an idea of where I just should have put down which number New Hampshire was, but that gives us an idea of, some of the states passed it, a couple of each year, kind of went through in stages. Now it's February, so that makes it the second month of the year. That makes the 23rd 2/23 or 2/23. So technically the 23rd of February is 2/23 day. So if you're one to celebrate the caliber anniversaries that aren't technically anniversaries, but more like just line up numerically, then get ready to have an exciting 2/23 day. Happens to also be the day that the Marines rose their flag, or our flag, on Iwo Jima back in 1945. There's some interesting docudramas about that. You might be interested in checking out on that day. The next day, the 24th of February, is the day that the M82 was adopted as the state rifle of Tennessee. That was back in 2016. Now, do you think that they would have adopted the Barrett M82 as their state rifle if they knew that Barrett in 2023 was going to sell his company to an Australian company? 100%. I imagine they still like the gun, though. And the factory's not going anywhere, so I imagine it'll stay the state gun. I can't focus it, so I won't try. But the 25th is the anniversary of Colt's first patent for his first revolver. That was back in 1836. So the first Colt revolvers are when Colt got in trouble as a youth and was sent out on a boat, and he was doing something on some kind of boat where, I don't know, boats have some kind of thing where they tie the steering wheel with a rope and some kind of pegs, and that made him think, what if you pegged the cylinder in a revolver? Because all revolvers up until Colt were kind of free spinning. They didn't really have anything that locked them into place in line with the bore. So his big improvement, his big deal was to lock the cylinder up with the bore. And his first patents were whittled out of wood while he was out there on that boat. And when he came back, he was an entrepreneurial type, and he came up with the patent in 1836. And then about 14 years later, you get the first cartridges with Smith & Wesson. So there was about 14 years there where Colt was the number one Glock of the time, like the fancy whiz-bang gun that could shoot multiple bullets at the same time. I don't know anybody needs 2 bullets, but Colt decided they did. Then you got Frank Fiamminga. I don't know how to say his last name, so I won't try. But he was born in 1949 on February 25th. Frank from the New Jersey Second Amendment Society. I believe he's still an active participant there. Now, on February 26th, you have Richard Gatling passing away. I don't normally like to put anniversaries in the calendar of people passing, but I guess I did with that one. I probably didn't notice that I was putting that in there. On the website, we have the passing, the day that people died, but on the calendar, I usually put birthdays, days of birth. So the 27th is, the Browning BAR was adopted by probably the military back then, because that was World War I think. Now you have William Fairbairn, I don't know how to say his name, born in 1885. That's his dagger there that obviously has been included in many insignia over the years, and that's because him and Sykes were the two that ended up, if I remember right, going to, where'd they go? Bombay or someplace? Got into a bunch of different street fights. Eventually came back to England, and during World War II, they invented the OSS and all the tactics that would eventually become the OSS, the CIA, and all the special operations tactics. And all learned from the dirty tricks by street fighting back in the day. Now, the 28th of February is also the anniversary of the Brady Bill, the 10-year Brady Bill the 3-year Brady Bill going into effect. The Brady Bill was petitioned or pushed through by one of the bodyguard. Or no, wait, what was he? He was some sort of. He'd worked for Reagan, and when Reagan there was an attempted assassination on Reagan, Brady got shot, and the anti-rights groups decided they could exploit Brady's situation to play on emotions and suggest all kinds of things about gun owners. And that Brady Bill was essentially going to be an infringement on people's ability to purchase a firearm based on the fact that one crazy person shot Reagan and shot Brady. And then that lasted just a few years until the NICS system was created. And then essentially the NICS system was being created, and Sheriff Mack and some sheriff from Montana sued the federal government for the Brady Bill, which required the sheriffs to do background checks on everybody who purchased a gun. And that wasn't going to fly. The federal government can't make sheriffs do that. So just as the Brady Bill was being repealed, they changed it to be the NICS, and that's where the federal government used the FBI to do the background checks, and that was their loophole, their will still infringe loophole. Brady was the press secretary. Thank you. I didn't remember. So that's some of the stuff that's going on in February. I won't go through every single thing of every single month, but let's take a quick look at what's coming up for the rest of the year. Like I say, I've got on this particular layout, I made the top part of the calendar so that this layout could be changed up. If somebody has some other ideas for this thing, let me know. But this one has museums on it. But this section of the top page is the headlines, right? The highlights of the month, and that's what we'll take a quick look at. We've got Lethal Weapons Texas. That's a new kind of a fun normalization shoot. I think that's what I'm going to call it. It's the evolution of competition, the evolution of industry get-togethers, and it's the evolution of gun shows all mixed together. This dog could care less about whatever it is we're talking about over here. He could literally care less about this. I'm not saying he's not 2A. I'm just saying he's too little to be up this late. All right. So then we got Big Sandy coming up. That's the machine gun shoot here in Arizona that happens in March. We've got the Blade Show on that same weekend, March 17th and 18th. The Blade Show is in Texas, so there's 3 different Blade Shows each year. The Real Blade Show East. No, wait. The Real Blade Show West, and Blade Show Texas. Is there a 4th Blade Show? Anyway, there's the Blade Show Texas is coming up in March, and that's essentially a big bunch of knife makers that get together with knife enthusiasts, and they go around relishing the right to own knives. And they probably spread relish. I don't know. Then you have the Ambassador Academy. That's a pretty interesting skill building and up training that happens in Florida. This year it's in March, that same weekend, March 17th and 18th. Lots of other stuff happens in March. Go check out the website, guncalendars.com. Go check out or buy one of these calendars. I think DJ dropped a link. Thank you for that. Feel free to buy one of these. We send it to you with a whole bunch of free patches and cool stuff. Let's see. So then we get April. The big stuff is Wanamaker, the biggest gun show on the planet, the biggest gun show in the United States, and the biggest gun show that happens twice each year, once in April and then once in like October or November. Then you have the NRA annual meeting happening in April as well. The Gunmakers Match, the 3rd annual Gunmakers Match, will be happening in Pennsylvania this year in April. I tried to put some competition shoots in here, but this is by no means any kind of representation of all the competitions that are out there. But the Steel World Champions or World Speed Championships for the Steel Challenge will take place in April. And then the Girl in a Gun Conference happens in April as well. And that's probably one of the best examples of something that's moving the ball to normalize firearms. Everything else we'll talk about this year. That's probably one of the biggest deals, and it's completely unsung. If you want to support somebody who needs support and deserves it, they've already moved the ball and are still doing it. Girl in a Gun is probably your best bet. Let's see. Then we've got May, and the important stuff the big stuff that's happening in May is Shootah. It's a more formal, less informal. I don't know if it's formal, but it's less informal. It's not so much cosplay and goofing off, but it is a fun day at the range for people in Utah. So I believe it's mostly companies that do business in Utah, and then people in Utah, but I guess they allow anybody to show up. So really interesting. I'd like to check that out sometime. Right now it's a question mark, but it's actually been announced. I just don't know it right now off the top of my head. There's the World Para Shooting Sports. So para for people who are differently abled in all different ways, different types of shooting events. It's essentially their Olympic level world competitions. And in 2023, at least, only one of those national or world level competitions will happen in the United States, and that'll be in May. And they just said that it'll be at the Hinsdale College, wherever that is, and it'll be in May. I don't know when yet, though. But anyway, that's if you want to check out a world level shooting competition. We don't get too many of them in the United States, and you can go check out the para shooting competition there. Then the Mingle is another up-training, skill-building, incorporating tactics with Second Amendment advocacy as well as industry training. So similar to some of the other events, but also different, and an ongoing event that's been going on for a while, held by the Complete Combatant in Georgia, and that happens in May each year. Then you've got No Other Choice, another annual event that happens in Missouri, and that's again an up-training and skill building opportunity workshop, a weekend-long workshop for the gun media, gun industry, and firearms instructors to come together and learn from each other and with each other. Really cool. One of the best training opportunities on here. And while Girl in a Gun is probably the one that's done the most and has had the most influence and is the largest with 300 or 700, 500, hundreds and hundreds of ladies showing up and growing each year, Train and Learn is the most, it's got the most potential, but it's also the easiest to access. You can purchase a ticket to this. Anyone can purchase tickets. Anyone can go to this one. So we got May. Now we're going to get into June. We got the Real Blade Show, which happens in Georgia. You've got the U.S. Fast Draw Championships happen out in California. You've got iGold. That's the Illinois Gun Owners Legislative Day. That'll be happening in June. I think that's also announced already, and I just didn't have the dates whenever I put this together earlier this year. This one is version 2, so I'll put the updated stuff together maybe sometime this month and make a version 3. So again, if you want to buy one of these, grab one. I don't know what I charge for them, $20 or something. Probably $20.23 because I'm cool like that. And then let's see, we get to June. We've got the Blade Show. We've got the Fast Draw. We got iGold. And then the last one I forgot to mention was OFAST, the Oklahoma Full Auto and Shoot and Trade Show. OFAST. I don't know why they do it in the middle of the heat like that, but it's a machine gun shoot. It happens in Oklahoma, and it's our friends from In Range. Yeah, Mike Friend. So one of the most authentic Kalashnikov builders probably on earth, at least in the United States, and very reputable, very impressive and expensive builds. Very difficult to get one at this point too, because he doesn't do them in mass or anything. So go check out Troy's um, event. Then you have July, and only two things happen in July. You've got the first annual, after 7 years in the making, NAGA National Convention down in Georgia. And then up in Michigan, you've got Rick Ector's 12th annual uh, women's free shooting event, where he brings in all kinds of instructors from around the country, and that has become a big part of it. The instructors getting together and having a fun weekend of instructing ladies for free, and a bunch of ladies, thousands, hundreds of ladies, thousands, I forget. A lot of ladies get together and or come together to 2 or 3 different locations, and all these instructors that Rick coordinates come together and offer them orientation and some instruction on firearms. I don't have anything happening in August. What's up with that? We've got a lot of industry. Why don't we do nothing in August? Then you get September. We're looking at Dragon Man's machine gun shoot. So Dragon Man's opens in April. I didn't have that in here because I didn't know the dates, but Dragon Man's opens in April. We've got the dates now. Later on in the year, in September, he'll have his machine gun shoot, and then unfortunately, he'll close the museum for tours in November, I think. Let's see. Then we've got the Alternative Mass Media Convention, or AMCON. That'll happen the day before Friday of the Gun Rights Policy Conference, and that's been announced in Phoenix this year. So if you can get to Phoenix in September for the Gun Rights Policy Conference, AMCON is the Alternative Media Convention that happens the Friday before the Gun Rights Policy Conference. Now, October, things are starting to rock and roll a little bit, especially if you like shooting guns. So you've got Clash Bash, Texas, which is essentially cosplay. It's an AK Comic Con, so it's an AK Con kind of thing. You show up and they have a lot of fun. They have competitions. They have industry exhibitions. They have gun show related, like you can buy stuff. It's like a picnic. It's the evolution of firearms entertainment. You've got the National Association of Sporting Goods Wholesalers Expo, which is going to happen in Columbus at some point in October, and that's essentially a tiny shot show for some gun purchasers and some manufacturers, and that'll happen in October, just a few months before SHOT Show. So it's an interesting show that Gun Blast used to really go to a lot, and I don't know who's covering it now. Then you've got Red October, very similar shoot to the one that happens in Texas, but Red October happens in Las Vegas, so that one's a fun shoot. I don't know which one's bigger. I haven't been to Clash Bats, Texas yet, but I know a lot of people are enjoying this one, and this one is also many years in the as an annual event. So 2 Kalashnikov events happening in October. Then you got the Fastest Gun Alive Championship, another cowboy fast draw competition over in Nevada this time. Then the 3rd Blade Show West, will happen in Salt Lake City. I can't imagine that has to be a fun show, because there's lots of cool stuff to do in Salt Lake City. I'm just saying. And then you've got the second of the 2 big Sandy machine gun shoots that'll happen the weekend before Halloween. So that's kind of cool. Good time for that one. The October machine gun shoot can be super cold in Arizona, and then sometimes it isn't. So it's always fun to find out. In November, the only thing I've got on the calendar is Wanamaker, the second of the 2 gun shows each year, the largest gun show in the United States. That makes it the largest gun show in the country. And the only thing I have for December at this point is the SAR Show West, the Small Arms Review Show, a periodical that comes out a couple of times a year that is focused on belt-fed guns and tripod-mounted things and the people that own them. And they have a show in collaboration or cooperation with the Crossroads of the West, who holds their biggest show this side of Wanamaker in Phoenix. And then the SAR building is a whole building of full auto guns and stuff that happens, like I said, at the same time. So in the calendar, there's lots of other stuff that we didn't talk about, different guns that got invented or brought on to the military. We've got authors. We've got Second Amendment activists in here. We've got other people And then we've got other events, and then of course anniversaries of the different laws that either took effect or wailed on us. All right, well, I threw a link out there. Nobody wanted to jump in. I went through the calendar. That's one of the things I wanted to accomplish tonight. We'll attempt to accomplish more things in the coming evenings, but I'm really not interested in just saying stuff for this long, so that's a lot of talking. We've had a great day. I hope everybody else has as well. There's lots of good things happening behind the scenes here and in other places around the places out there. So stay tuned for lots of neat stuff happening in the future. Snob is saying, I feel like February should have been recognized as my birthday month on the calendar. There's actually quite a few people that have birthdays in February. I believe that people with birthdays in February are a lot better than other people, but I'm only going by the science. I'm going by the science and proven facts based on almanacs, history books, and movies, which we've all seen. All right, well, with that, I guess we'll wrap it up. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. Oh, I guess I should also mention that we do have a project. Oh, you know what I need to do before I do that is I've had my thing open on the screen here, which is really dumb to have open on the screen here the whole time. I am going to bring the thing up to where it was on the screen and then over to where this is, right? Look at that. We got the diversity sheet over here. We got this show over here. There's all y'all's comments right there. And here's where What's His Nuts was corking me earlier. But we got this campaign going, and this is for a robot. So we're attempting, we're giving it the old attempt to grab the robot off of Alan Anker. Alan Anker are these graphic designers out in California, and they do things for companies that are pro-gun, and they make merchandise, and they attempt to help people do their businesses better. And somewhere along the lines, they bought this robot, this one right here. I don't know if I can't, as soon as I click away, I can't tell if I'm looking at it or not. So they're talking about this robot right here. It's not cheap. So what I'm trying to do is raise money to grab that robot from them, learn how to work it, and then drag it back over here to Arizona, where I will use it to do things like make more patches like up here. So let's take a look at something that we made with the other machines. Something like this is what we made on the old robot before it broke. And something like this is also an example of what the other machine could do. So that's what we're looking to do, is make stuff like that again. And the project will facilitate that. So if you'd like to learn what it's like to run a crowdfunding campaign, is this thing working? Yeah. If you want to see what it's like to work one of these campaigns, this is our 37th project. It's about 80, we'll definitely get up to about $87,000 worth of projects with this one. This is what it looks like behind the scenes. There's the dashboard and stuff. If you have any questions about how to do a campaign, how to set it up, how to follow through on it, that's a big chunk. And then how to arrange it, how to figure out the numbers, and then how to monitor. So once you start running the campaign, let's see, if we go to campaign insights back here, you get all this data, all these analytics about it. And how do you interpret that stuff? What does it all mean? Like, how can you use this to not just facilitate your project or your goal, but how do you use this to collaborate with other people out there? There's lots of different ways. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, if you're interested in this kind of thing, one of the reasons we have 37 of these campaigns is because I enjoy sharing people how these things work. This is a great way to empower your projects and to get things accomplished. We live in a country with 350 million people. It's going to take 140 of them for me to get this robot and to be able to move on and do interesting things with it. I don't know what your project might be or what Second Amendment goals some organizations might have out there. But doing crowdfunding is untapped. It is untapped. Most of the strategies that are out there are designed for people who are doing flashy things to lots and lots of people. And those formulas do work if you want to do flashy things to lots and lots of people. But if you're doing something authentic and you're doing something that's important, there's lots of interesting ways to accomplish that, empower yourself and the people that helped you do it, so that you can both do it again. All right, what does this say? Alan Anker saying we should do a live from the 15 needle robot show. Oh yeah, I'm down for that. I'm trying not to just do nothing but watch videos on how to work the robot, because then I might jinx something, but I've been watching videos on how to work the robot. One of my goals with the robot, here's the robot again, would be to I'm going to basically make a new channel that'll be working with the robot, setting up the robot, making projects with the robot. I got demonetized on this channel, so this channel never did make a lot of money, and a channel about a robot that sews can make a lot of money. So one of the other reasons to get this thing is to talk about that. So yeah, I'd be down for that. What I was going to do, though, since I got the camera out here, I'm going to first, I know I've been lectured over and over not to put dogs on Second Amendment focused content, that it's not good for the recipes. But I'm doing it anyway. So I'm going to put this dog right here, and I'm going to go grab a package. So this here was sent to me. This here was sent to me by Roll Call. I probably shouldn't put people's addresses and stuff. And I figured I would open it up on the live here, since I got this during SHOT Show and I hadn't opened it yet. I don't really know what it is. I think it's something he's sending to his Patreons. So Roll Call, as I mentioned, come with me back over here. Roll Call does a Rants and Raves show. Each Wednesday. And he was threatening to quit the shows at number 200. However, somebody said, why don't you go to 219, since it's Roll Call 219? And I think he has decided to go to show 219. But today was episode 199. So it's almost over. A lot of people, have a run, and he's decided 219 shows will be his run. So if you're interested, check him out on Wednesdays. Now here, if you're watching this Roll Call, what the hell are you paying $6.75? This should cost you more like $5 to ship. So let's talk about this. But anyway, thank you for sending this. We're using this razor blade. I found this razor blade in the puppy's sweatshirt pocket. We're going to have to talk about that later. Let's see what we got in here. It felt kind of lumpy. Oh, snap. What the hell is this? Huh. I don't know what this is. It's interesting. Got some kind of a piece of paper here. Was going through. Right on. All right, cool. So I guess he had some of these surplus patches and sent them so we could see something to do with them. So first off, I don't know what these are. Some kind of mountain deal? Who knows what these are? I'm guessing something in the snow. So are these modern? I guess. These are different than anything I ever had. So anybody know what these are? But I got a bunch of these. Thanks for that. I always dig unit patches. Now these are some kind of sergeants that you'd have to, these, I don't know what the hell these are. Come on. Something master sergeant, top sergeant, something. That's a lot of stripes. You just definitely, you want to keep away from these guys. This here is a staff sergeant or something. So this, I'm not sure what these are. So these are maybe, I don't know what these are. What are these? Maybe for a collar or something? Is this a girl thing? I don't know what this is. Super interesting. Unless this is just the way that they make rockers and you just cut them off here for something. I don't have any idea. This is super neat. I have no idea what this is. Maybe this is just a way that they run off a bunch of these things. Good pieces 60, bad pieces 5, total pieces 65. What does that mean? Huh, that's super neat. I have no idea what this is. So I'm digging that, digging it. So what would you come up with for this? I mean, the obvious is some sort of a strap or something. I know DJ's thinking guitar strap, but there's probably something else to do with this, although it is pretty strong. And then I'm guessing that these are different versions of it. Service Stripes Army, men's golden light on army green. One strip, 64 stripes. Service stripes. Huh. I don't remember having anything like this on anything. Embroidered stripes, service, army, women. This is the women one. It's all little. Huh. That's pretty interesting. I don't know. What would you do with them? It reminds me of a giant metal room with bins of things being thrown at you. That's what these smells of this fabric is bringing back. All right, so this came out of this, I think. That's super cool, dude. So I am interested in playing around with parts like that. And as you mentioned in the thing, come up with some kind of project or something. We'll definitely do that. So thanks for that. All right, service stripes are for length of service. Okay, I guess that could make sense. So they just make them in a big strip and cut them to the person's. I have no idea what those are. I wasn't in that long, I guess. Maybe 5 years. There's no way they put one in for each year. So it's probably every 5 years or something you get a bar. Pretty cool. So again, thanks everybody for joining us. There's a link at the bottom for our Patreon. Check that out if you're interested in sponsoring, subscribing to what we do. Let's see, when people subscribe over on Patreon, they're essentially, most people are grabbing us a cup of coffee each month. And then that accumulates and pays off most of the bills. And then, most, but a chunk of the bills. And then we use the Patreon to say thanks. We used to have the membership thing over on the YouTube, so that's a little bit tougher. So we use the Patreon as a kind of our blog and a way to keep people up to date on whatever we might be doing on the other platforms that the YouTube doesn't always link to. Thanks to DJ for dropping the link to that. I guess I was also going to say that once you're over at Patreon, take a look around. You might be interested in other things, and there might be people over there that are creating stuff or participating in things that you're interested in, and there might be some other people that you're interested in participating with. All right, so we never did get to see. Oh no, I didn't have this dog with me to be able to have it play with those dogs. Your dogs are much larger than this dog, and I don't know. Yeah, we'd see. When he's got his armor on, he feels like he's got some kind of armor on, so he runs around being invincible. So it'd be interesting to see how they play. That's for sure. Again, thanks everybody who's been asking about him. He's back to normal. This is just regular sleeping because He was playing and everything earlier and just wore himself out, but he's doing a lot better. And we'll be back tomorrow, same time, same channel. And until then, thanks for watching. I've been using the what is this thing called? Adobe Express. I'm curious if anybody's interested in having any kind of Adobe Express workshop. Let us know in the comments.